At 3:30 p.m. on August 27th, following a series of loud explosions, 14 out of 15 unfinished buildings were blasted down. These buildings are located in the A1, A3, and A4 plots of the Phase 2 project in Liyang Star City Community, Kunming City. The total of these properties is worth more than $1 billion and were instantly turned into rubble after almost 10 years of life. The blasting of these buildings used 4.2 tons of explosives at 85,000 blasting points, and the blasting time was 45 seconds. One of the buildings did not fall down, and experts explained that the building's disintegration was not sufficient. No secondary blasting is required, and mechanical demolition will suffice. According to the official media of Yunnan Province, 36 residential buildings of 6 to 12 stories high, a kindergarten, and other commercial buildings will be built on this land in the future. The buildings that were blasted down belong to the Phase 2 project of the Liyang Star City Community, which is located in Wuhua District, Kunming City, Yunnan Province, covering an area of approximately 56 acres, composing of 4 plots. In 2011, the project was started by Kunming Xishan Housing Development. In the second year, due to the capital chain rupture, the project was taken over by Yunnan thesea Real Estate Development. In July 2013, due to various reasons, the project was again suspended. In 2015, 4 high-rise buildings on the A2 plot were completed and handed over, while a total of 15 high-rise buildings on the remaining 3 plots had been suspended. According to media reports, although the main reason for the failure of Liyang Star City Phase 2 project is the broken capital chain, there are also many corrupt practices involved that we don't know about. On November 23, 2020, 100% of Xishan Housing's shares and its $3.57 million debt were listed for sale on e-exchange website, and Yunnan Honghe Real Estate ended up purchasing it for $151.3 million. At the end of 2020, Xishan Housing conducted a market research on the Phase 2 project of Liyang Star City Community. The research report stated that the floor plans of Liyang Star City A1, A3, and A4 can no longer meet the current market demands. Moreover, because the project has been suspended for a long time, rainwater has entered the basement of the buildings in the rainy season. The foundations have been soaked in water for a long time, and the exterior of the buildings also has some quality defects and hidden dangers. Based on a thorough evaluation, to ensure the quality and safety of the project, demolishing and reconstruction is a must. As a result, this nearly 10-year-old project was eventually blasted down. Hopefully, it can be reborn in the hands of new developers and reignite hope for those who unfortunately bought units there. Looking into the development history of the Kunming housing market, you will find that unfinished buildings are everywhere, and almost all the once popular development areas have had several unfinished projects. According to mainland media reports, as of May of this year, 93 unfinished projects have been counted in Kunming. Among them, 26 projects have been resolved so far. Another 30 projects are planned to be resolved this year, and all of them will be resolved next year. There are 2 common ways to revitalize unfinished buildings. One is to find new partners and implement capital restructuring. The other is to have companies with financial strength to purchase and revitalize them. There are successful cases. Some unfinished projects have become hot sales, even though they had been scorned by home buyers before. However, most of the unfinished buildings are very troublesome to deal with because of the complicated personnel relations, creditors' rights, and debts involved, just like the unfinished Different Happy City project in Kunming introduced in our previous video. These projects have been repeatedly on the cycle of suspension and continuation. Some have been suspended for as long as 20 years, and they have been standing in the wind and rain, their unfinished appearance becoming a landmark in Kunming. The reason why there are so many unfinished buildings in Kunming stems from the vigorous city building movement that began in 2008. On December 28, 2007, Qiu He, the former vice governor of Jiangsu Province, became the secretary of the Kunming Municipal Party Committee. This official is famous for his strong style and iron-fisted governance. Qiu He is also known as the father of Wu Mao. It is said that in 2005, when Qiu He was in charge of Suqian City in Jiangsu Province, he started recruiting internet commentators, commonly known as Wu Mao, to guide public opinion on current political issues, which was later promoted nationwide. Since Chiu He took charge of Kunming, the city has undergone radical changes. In February 2008, Kunming municipal government issued a document on accelerating the reconstruction of urban villages, planning to complete the reconstruction of all 336 urban villages in Kunming within 5 years. 3 years later, the White Paper on the 3-Year Plan for Reconstruction of Urban Villages in Kunming 2011 to 2013 was released, increasing the number of villages to be reconstructed by 46 and bringing the total number to 382. Zhou Dayan, director of the Real Estate Investment and Financing Research Center of Yunnan University of Finance and Economics, said that simultaneously reconstructing so many urban villages is unprecedented in any city in the country. There are simply not enough large real estate companies to work with, and the government has not set a strict requirement, which has led to the entry of many small and medium-sized developers with insufficient qualifications and strength. The city-building movement, which was already large enough, had still been expanding the scope of development during its implementation. A local official once told a mainland media reporter at the time that the reconstruction of an urban village was not only about rebuilding that single village, but about integrating the land in surrounding areas and requiring developers to purchase them as a whole. The integrated surrounding land is even 3 to 5 times larger than the village itself. For example, in 2008, the demolition of the Luoshiwan International Trade City on the east bank of Dianchi Lake began. The village's land was only about 494 acres, but at the time of bidding, the reconstruction project was turned into the development of a total area of about 1,977 acres, comprising 27 lots. This vigorous city-building movement, accompanied by forced demolition, has transformed Kunming into a demolition city within a short period of time. 6 million Kunming citizens were faced with demolition, causing a tragedy of many people being homeless. Small and medium-sized real estate companies are most afraid of policy changes. In 2009, Kunming decided to build subway lines and started construction of 6 subway lines at the same time. This was originally good news for the real estate market, but along with it came the Kunming City Urban Infrastructure Supporting Fee Collection and Management Measures. According to the above-mentioned official, in the early stage of urban village reconstruction, there were implicit regulations. High floor area ratio is required, and building a slab-type apartment with a low floor area ratio is not allowed in the second ring road. In order to balance the high land cost of urban village reconstruction, developers also tend to raise the floor area ratio very high. In the past, the supporting fees for urban infrastructure facilities were charged based on the area of occupied land. After the implementation of the new charging method, the supporting fees were charged based on the construction area, which undoubtedly required developers to pay an extra amount. According to the new regulations, developers are not allowed to apply for construction permits and other certificates if the payment is not completed. On October 22, 2014, the Kunming Municipal Bureau of Land and Resources issued a notice requiring 25 real estate companies to pay covered land prices. This directly led to the merge of a large number of unfinished buildings. Data shows that the unfinished buildings in Kunming mainly merged in 2014 and 2015. During this period, the housing market in Kunming was sluggish. Coupled with the government's recovery of land prices, the capital chain of many local real estate companies was broken, resulting in a large number of unfinished buildings. Of course, in addition to the rupture of the capital chain, there are also projects that have been stalled due to disputes, illegal construction, problems with approval procedures, and suspected criminal offenses in the financing process. On November 29, 2011, Chiu He was promoted to Deputy Secretary of the Yunnan Provincial Party Committee and left Kunming in a mess. On March 15, 2015, the website of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection revealed that Chiu He was under investigation for serious violations of discipline and law. Urban construction is most likely to breed official corruption. According to public information, from 2008 to 2015, Chiu He took advantage of his position as Secretary of the Kunming Municipal Committee and Deputy Secretary of the Yunnan Provincial Committee, as well as the convenience of its power and status to illegally accept and demand assets from others, equivalent to more than 24.33 million yuan or 3.76 million US dollars. In the end, Qiu He was sentenced to 14 years and 6 months in prison for accepting bribes. With the fall of Qiu He, the radical city-building movement came to an end. On March 24, 2015, Kunming government released several urban renovation policies, including the Kunming Urban Renovation Measures and the Kunming Urban Renovation Management Measures Implementation Rules, which called for a halt to the 7-year-long Qiu He-style urban village reconstruction. On the day the new policies were released, the Kunming City Urban Renovation and Reconstruction Work Conference also released a set of data. As of March 24, 2015, Kunming City had already launched 229 urban village reconstruction projects. According to a field survey conducted by Yunnan Fang website at the beginning of 2015, only 30 urban villages have actually been reconstructed, and more than 85% of the urban villages are still under reconstruction, or have not yet begun demolition. The fall of Qiu He brought the city-building movement to an end in Kunming, but those urban villages that were half demolished or half built are still there. Debts and development problems are still there, and they can only be left to the developers who are still struggling to solve them. Of course, there are also those people who unfortunately bought unfinished apartment units. They have been fighting for their rights for years without any results. They still live in leaky homes, lacking water and electricity, relying on batteries and candles for lighting, collecting water from puddles at construction sites, and cooking in shacks.